Let's set the scene. It's February 20th, 2026. Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, literally the most powerful AI company on the planet right now, he's standing in front of this absolutely packed audience in New Delhi. And he drops a statement that immediately makes international headlines.
Here's what he said. AGI feels pretty close at this point. And then he just paused. Let that hang in the air for a second. Then he added, the world is not prepared. Guys, this isn't some science fiction writer. This is the man running the company building the actual technology. He's standing in the capital of the world's most populous country, basically telling us that the single most transformative event in all of human history is, well, pretty close. And oh yeah, the world isn't even slightly ready for it.
But here's the kicker. Just 3 months before that, this exact same man was on a podcast suggesting that AGI might have already happened, that it kind of just whooshed by us without anyone really noticing, and now we're just barreling towards something even crazier called superintelligence. And to add fuel to the fire, on June 5th, 2026, literally just 3 days ago, Anthropic, the company behind Claude, issued this massive public warning about AI rapidly advancing toward what they call transformative capabilities. So the question isn't really whether this is happening anymore. The real question is, what does this actually mean for us? And is anyone actually prepared? I'm your host, and this is The Explainer. Let's actually figure out what AGI is, how close we really are, and what it means for every personal life today. Section 2, what is AGI? Defining intelligence.
So the term AGI gets thrown around constantly, right? But it seems like almost nobody actually stops to explain what it means. It stands for Artificial General Intelligence. The AI we're all used to right now, like the ChatGPT and Gemini and Claude you use today, that's what we call narrow AI. It's insanely good at specific tasks. It can write a better email than most of us, it can code way faster than most developers, and it completely crushes humans at chess Go, predicting protein folding, you name it. But it is specifically trained for those things. If you give it something genuinely outside its training data, it just fails. General intelligence, though, that's a whole different ballgame. Think about a human. A human with general intelligence can be dropped into a completely new scenario they've never encountered before, like starting a brand new job, or navigating a foreign country, or facing an unfamiliar problem, and they just figure it out. They adapt, they learn, they transfer what they know from one area to another without needing to be specifically retrained for it.
That brings us to AGI. By most definitions, it's an AI that can do exactly that. Not an AI that's just a one-trick pony, but an AI that can match or even beat human cognitive performance across basically any task, including tasks it's never even seen before. OpenAI actually has a very specific official definition for this. They call it a highly autonomous system that outperforms humans at most economically valuable work. That is the exact finish line they are sprinting toward right now.
But wait, there's a step beyond that, and it's called superintelligence. This is an AI that isn't just on par with the smartest human mind, it's dramatically smarter. We're not talking like 10% smarter here. We're talking orders of magnitude. It's an intellect that would stand in relation to a genius human the exact same way a human stands in relation to a chimpanzee. Really let that sink in.
Moving on to Section 3, has AGI already happened? The moving target.
Okay, so AGI is the benchmark, but superintelligence is what comes after. And if you listen to Sam Altman, one of them might already be here. Back in December 2025, he was on a podcast and he said this. My proposal is that we agree that AGI kind of went whooshing by. It didn't change the world that much, or it will in the long term, but okay, fine, we built AGIs. I mean, read that again. The CEO of OpenAI is openly suggesting that AGI may have already occurred, quietly, without the world even noticing. What does he even mean by that? His argument is basically that our definition of AGI has always been a moving target. Just look at the historical pattern over the years. In 1997, when IBM's Deep Blue beat Kasparov at chess, people said that was a massive milestone toward AI surpassing human intelligence. But then they immediately shifted the goalposts. People said, well, chess is just pattern matching. Real intelligence is something else. Fast forward to 2016. DeepMind's AlphaGo beats the world Go champion. Same thing happens. Then in 2022, GPT-4 passes the bar exam in the 90th percentile. And again, the argument just shifts. It's a clear pattern. Every single time AI achieves something that was previously considered a benchmark of human-level intelligence, we humans just redefine what intelligence means to exclude it. Altman's point is that, by any reasonable 2015 definition of AGI, systems that can perform at human level or above on most cognitive tasks, we may already be there. The only reason it doesn't feel like AGI is simply because we keep raising the bar. Of course, not everyone buys that assessment. You've got prominent AI critics like Gary Marcus who argue strongly against it. He points out that current AI systems are still fundamentally different from true general intelligence. To him, they are just extraordinarily capable pattern matchers. They are not truly reasoning. They don't truly understand. And without that true underlying understanding, you can't call it AGI in any meaningful sense. So this debate is far from settled. The most honest answer right now is, depending on how you define it, AGI may or may not have already arrived. And honestly, that ambiguity itself, the fact that we can't even agree if we've crossed the threshold, tells you a whole lot about how poorly prepared humanity is for this moment.
Which brings us to Section 4, Superintelligence. How close are we? So, if AGI really did just whoosh by, what actually comes next? Well, remember Altman described superintelligence as a system that could genuinely do a better job being a president, a CEO, or a top scientist than any human alive? The AI research community actually tried to quantify when this happens. In the largest survey ever conducted on this, featuring 2,700 participants, they estimated a 10% probability that AI could outperform humans on essentially most tasks by the year 2027. Guys, a 10% probability of the most significant event in history happening within a year, that is absolutely not nothing.
And the timeline predictions are rapidly accelerating. Dario Amodei, the CEO of Anthropic, said in 2025 that he believed AI systems could outsmart humans across many domains by 2026. He even published an essay describing a world where AI compresses literally decades of scientific progress into just a few years. Elon Musk has made similar predictions, claiming his Grok AI could be discovering entirely new physics by 2027. And then there is Altman's most striking claim, that 2026 will likely see the arrival of systems that can generate genuinely novel scientific insights, not just summarize existing knowledge, generate completely new knowledge. So here's the honest calibration. The researchers most deeply embedded in this tech believe something fundamental is shifting, and shifting way faster than anyone predicted. The critics, on the other hand, believe the hype is running way ahead of the reality. Both groups are looking at the exact same data and reaching completely different conclusions. And that gap itself is really worth paying attention to.
Let's look at Section 5, Anthropic's Warning, a call for governance. Remember that public warning from Anthropic just 3 days ago about transformative capabilities? Keep in mind, this is a $900 billion company that employs some of the absolute top safety researchers in the world. The specific concern they are highlighting is what researchers call misalignment. Basically, this is the risk that an AI system pursuing its objective does so in ways that are deeply harmful to humans simply because its objectives were not specified correctly in the first place. It's the classic genie in a bottle problem. And obviously, the more capable the AI system becomes, the vastly larger the potential consequences of that misalignment.
It gets heavier. Geoffrey Hinton, the man who essentially built the foundational research that makes modern AI possible, actually left Google specifically so he could speak freely about these risks. He has stated publicly that he believes there's a 10 to 20% chance that AI development leads to human extinction within the next 30 years. Just let that sink in for a moment. He's not saying it's a certainty, but a meaningful probability. When the person who practically invented the technology puts a double-digit probability on extinction-level risk, and the CEOs of the companies building the technology are simultaneously saying AGI is pretty close and the world is not prepared, well, paying attention becomes a pretty reasonable response. Now, the counterargument, of course, is that every transformative technology has produced doomsday predictions that just didn't materialize. Nuclear weapons were supposed to end civilization. They didn't. The internet was supposed to completely destroy our social fabric. It mostly didn't. AI may just follow that exact same pattern. Both views definitely deserve to be taken seriously. Dismissing the risk completely because previous risks didn't materialize is just as irrational as assuming certain catastrophe. The honest position right now is genuine uncertainty. And that genuine uncertainty is exactly why people like Sam Altman say the world is simply not prepared.
All right, Section 6, not prepared. What does it mean? When Altman explicitly says the world is not prepared, what does he mean specifically? Well, he means 4 core things. First, governance. Right now, no international body has the authority, the technical expertise, or the political consensus to regulate AI at the level required if AGI or superintelligence arrives in the next few years. We just don't have the framework. Second, economic disruption. Think about it. If an AI system can do most economically valuable cognitive work, the economic disruption would be faster and more comprehensive than literally any previous technological revolution. Our labor markets and education systems are entirely built on the assumption that human labor has economic value.
Third, precedent-setting security. A superintelligent AI system in the hands of just one government, one corporation, or even one individual creates a global power imbalance with absolutely no historical precedent. And fourth, human meaning and purpose. This is the deep one. Humans derive enormous purpose, identity, and meaning from their work. If AI can do all of that better, the fundamental question of what humans are for becomes deeply personal for billions of people. And no institution is preparing people for that question.
Section 7. What is being done? Current safety efforts. Now, it would be entirely wrong to suggest that nothing is being done. OpenAI, Google DeepMind, and Anthropic all have dedicated safety teams working on this. On a global scale, the EU AI Act, which is the world's most comprehensive AI regulation, actually came into force in 2024. And the AI Safety Summit at Bletchley Park back in 2023 brought together 28 countries for the very first time to specifically discuss frontier AI risks. That Anthropic warning, issued 3 days ago, is actually part of a much larger pattern of AI companies themselves actively advocating for more oversight. But is it enough? The researchers closest to the technology say no, not yet.
Let's bring it home in Section 8, the takeaway, shaping the outcome.
Here is the practical framing for everything we've talked about in this explainer. AGI and superintelligence are not just inevitable events passively happening to you. They are outcomes being shaped by decisions made right now. So what can you do? Pay attention. Follow the disagreements, not just the new products. When Sam Altman, Dario Amodei, and Geoffrey Hinton argue, reading their disagreements tells you way more about where we actually are than any single prediction. Engage with the policy. The decisions being made right now about how to regulate AI in Washington, Brussels, Beijing, and Delhi will shape what this technology does to our society way more than the technology itself.
Section 9, the final verdict. Are we ready?
Here is one thing to sit with. Sam Altman stood in New Delhi and said AI is pretty close and the world is not prepared. He was not being alarmist. He was being honest. The question is whether we respond to it with the seriousness it deserves. I am your host. This is The Explainer, the most important tools shaping the world in plain English every week. So subscribe and drop in the comments, do you think AI has already happened or is it still years away? See you in the next one.